Let's just begin with your name and title.
I'm Brigadier General Josef Blotz, ISAF Spokesman, Kabul, Afghanistan.
Let's just start off with the security situation. How would you describe the security situation in Afghanistan right now?
Well, first of all, as always, security situation is different depending the province or the region you're looking at. Right now, what is really noteworthy is that we have started a dedicated, clear operation in the province of Kandahar. The nickname of this operation is Dragon Strike, and it is aimed at clearing the adjacent districts to Kandahar, namely Panjwai and Jarai, where we have learned a year ago or so that these districts have become very important strongholds of the Taliban. And with the necessary reinforcements we got in over the last weeks and months, we are able to address these security issues together with the Afghan National Security Force. And actually in this operation, the Afghan National Security Forces outnumber our troops from the ISAF side, which is a very good indicator of an increased and improved partnering we're doing, and it is leading us towards the principle of Afghan lead. So this is going well in these days, and we're looking forward to address other security issues also in the east and the north of the country.
Can you talk a little bit more about this operation? When was it launched, and how does this differ from what was going on in Helmand province earlier this year?
Well, when it has launched depends a little bit on the phase you're looking at. If you look at the phase of shaping the battle space, it has started already weeks ago by collecting intelligence, doing shuras, coordinating, in a most comprehensive way the military and non-military instruments, getting in the Afghan government at all levels, etc., etc. But actually the more kinetic clearing phase has started 2-3 days ago, and I can't tell you right now how long it will last. It's one of the more important operations in the context of the Hamkari process in Kandahar, which is, as I repeatedly has said, a wider, comprehensive process aiming at protecting the people, driving away the Taliban from the population centers. And this is actually what we are doing with Dragon Strike in those two actually very difficult areas.
How would you describe the difference between the approach that is being used in Dragon Strike in Kandahar versus the approach in Helmand province?
Yeah, right. Forgive me for not having answered that question. Yeah, what we saw starting in February this year in Marja is somewhat similar to what we are seeing in this particular Dragon Strike operation. It is more kinetic. It is, say, in the entire context of Hamkari in the province of Kandahar, a phase that complements actually our desire to increase the necessary level of security, which is the backdrop to all we are doing comprehensively following that civil military approach. But from time to time you simply need to go in kinetically in areas where the Taliban still had a say, but they won't have a say in a couple of days in these districts, I can assure you.
You had said there are more Afghan security forces than NATO forces involved in this operation. What kind of numbers are we talking about in terms of troop levels?
Well, since this is an ongoing operation, I'm hesitant to talk about exact numbers. And operational security is obviously a big deal, but we are actually talking about significant numbers. Which is definitely more than just a couple of companies on ANSF and the ISAF side.
Can you just put this in perspective again? What does Kandahar represent in terms of the Taliban, and is this a make or break operation in terms of the overall war strategy?
Well, actually, fighting the Taliban in their strongholds in southern Afghanistan, particularly in the provinces of Helmand and Kandahar, is, as we know, Commander ISAF's top priority in the area of operational warfare. It's his point of main effort, actually. And all we are seeing, which is not exclusively and always military activities, has to be seen in that entire context. It's very important to get rid of the Taliban, which regard Kandahar as their heartland. And we have made progress over the last, let me say, 3 to 4 months. It's a slow progress, but it's I would say, a robust and deliberate progress we are making. And we can see, very good indicators for progress. We are on the right path. You can see that not only from a security point of view, but also from a development point of view. And that applies also to Helmand, where we are actually managing to get forward in terms of infrastructure programs, opening shops and bazaars and many other things. And that's going on a daily basis. So it's not very spectacular in the sense of a more kinetic, traditional type of operation. It's a process that leads us actually forward, and this Dragon Strike operation is again one of the more kinetic elements to it.
You had said that in terms of the clearing operation for Dragon Strike that it's you can't give a timeline on it, but you did also make the comment that this will be felt within a couple of days. Can you give us any more information on your sense of timing for the clearing operation?
That's very hard to say. Well, it's a military operation, and it's hard to predict how long will it take. It has got obviously a certain role to play. This operation, I mean, in the context of the overall process. Well, I think I'll be able to talk about more in more detail on the occasion of our next interview in a couple of days. For operational security and such, I'm hesitant to go into too much detail right now.
I understand that. In terms of the election, obviously the counterinsurgency strategy is supposed to help instill confidence in the population in their government. What are the concerns from the military perspective that concerns about fraud in the election are undermining one of the chief goals of the military operation, instilling confidence in the population?
Well, from an ISAF point of view, our focus is clearly a security focus. We were in a supporting role for the Afghan National Security Forces a week ago, and from a security perspective, and this is actually what the Afghans self, who were responsible for security on this day, said from a security point of view, this day went well. We had on the one side, a bigger number of security incidents overall, but the significance and their effects were less than last year during last year's presidential elections. It was, just to give you an example, only in Kabul, a 5 million people city, there was just one, somewhat, significant incident, when a rocket hit a place not far away from here at 3 o'clock in the morning, and this was it. In other words, it's already more than a first impression when I say that from a security point of view, it went actually well, and our congratulations went to the Afghan side and particularly to the Afghan National Security Forces. When it comes to fraud now, this is clearly not in the realm of ISAF. We provided as a supporter. security to this very important day. But otherwise, I would need to refer you to the Independent Election Committee and also to the Election Complaints Committee. That is dealing right now with a number of around about 3,000 complaints of different categories and significance. And once this all is sorted out, they will, from the Afghan side, go back into the tally work and come up with the results by end of October. And then we will have a clear picture of, voter turnout, fraud, complaints, etc., etc. But this, to comment, is not the task of ISAF.